it just is so in line. Every part of what she sings about is really how so many people feel, is they get dark in these lonely places, and sometimes really the only thing that can bring you out is to have faith that there's something else that's coming through. And a lot of this, when I went to write this book, it's funny, the first edit that went out still had your name in it, and I had never told you that you were kind of the muse, and everybody kept saying, who's this Joanna person in this book? Are you leaving her? You better explain it. And I still was like waiting, and then I started, I remember you started sending me music, and I saw that clip, and everything, it went on fire inside of me, and I knew that I had to like share that, like, you were so much an inspiration behind it. Because when I went to write, I was guided to pick somebody I was working with that I really knew that this could affect. And I knew that you were right there.
Then that came in, and I didn't know she was writing the book. And she told me about it, I guess, in that session, and she was so excited about it. And I thought, I've got a song she needs to hear. And that was the first song you'd heard me sing with Eric on the video clip, but then I sent her Keep My Faith. And this was a song for me that was written, I mean, we came in and we wrote it in 45 minutes, and it was just sent down. And we knew that. We were just vessels in the room that day. But it has affected so many people, and every time I sing it live, I'll always look out and people will be crying. And sometimes in my darkest hour, it's kind of hard for me to get through too, but I just know it was a gift. And it's not very often. Those are days you're glad you showed up to write songs that day.
Yeah, I can relate to that a lot, because I feel like even writing the books, a lot of that process is just to open up and faithfully open up, and then just the right words, the right whatever is needed to be heard comes through. And I just love it. I mean, the song starts in the darkness before the dawn. And I always say that faith is that knowing that even if you're in a dark spot, that's not where you're meant to be, that there is just the quality of right before the light, right before the dawn is sometimes the darkest time. And that's really what faith is about. Faith is, by nature, must be tested in the human form. It has to be tested, because if it's just a concept, right, and it's never tested, we don't know we can rely on it. But to have that kind of test, and then to know that, right, I survived that dark spot, and here's the dawn. That's when you really start to become, and I talk about that in the book, that's where it's tried, tested, and true. Like, you go, yeah, that was my experience, and now I know that. And that's what I loved about when you even wrote to me, was saying faith all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of my darkest hours the first time I met you, because I had been going through so many health issues, and I had had so many trials in the music industry, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep singing, and but I had been in so many different spiritual types of things where I would get words spoken over me that said, it's just not your time to quit. You can't quit. You can't give up. You got to keep going. So I knew something was on the other side, but my valley, and my faith journey seemed like it was so long before I left my record deal and my publishing deal and then got on this tour. It just seemed like it was such a long wilderness. I had to really, really stay strong with my faith and know that there was something on the other side. And I mean, some days I was only holding on by a thread, but I kept on.
I can relate to that on my own journey as well, to just be at the point of like, I just don't know anymore. And be ready to feel like you just want to resign and give up. But then that's a place where, and I would say that's the place that you lose all hope. It's like you can't even see that there's something else. And we have to, and faith is that reminder that no matter how dark it is, there's always something else. There's something, I think for me, working with faith, it always tells me that things, even though it may be difficult, that I know there's something good that's going to come of this. Even looking at this whole path, right? If you hadn't gone through that difficulty, would we be here today? Right? Would the book be what it is? I would have written a book, but would it be what it is without like meeting you? And I know that all of that is integral pieces that align universally to get people to come together. And that's where I look at this right now as such a gift, because not only is it a platform for this book, but it's a platform for you to get out more and to have new people that wouldn't hear your voice normally to hear. And I feel like that's what's with the book, is that having you and a different platform, it'll get the book out in that way too. I mean, this song that she sings is just so beautiful. The first time I played it, I just cried. I just cried.
Every day I find a way to keep keep my faith. Ooh. It's my saving grace. Every day